a solid 20 minutes for a high-level Ovention um, meeting, and then we can most definitely leave time at the end for questions. So first of all, on behalf of Ovention, we'd like to thank everybody for joining the meeting, being here with us today. Okay, I believe it's just going to admit as we keep going, so that's a good thing. All right, so most of you hopefully know Ovention and know what we're about, but I did want to give a high level of kind of where we started and where we're going. We are owned by Hatco, so we have the backing of them, and they're great manufacturing. So the quality that you can expect from Ovention and from Hatco are one and the same. Not only do we have a great rep network across the country, but we do have from the top down great leadership and sales and support roles. So you will mainly be interacting with myself, with Chad, Miguel, and Casey. We've got a wizard on the inside. He's our glue guy. His name is Jared Bublitz, and he is an incredible inside sales resource, along with our engineering team and service team, who are solely dedicated to Ovention, down there at the bottom row. So like I said, we've got the backing of Hatco, but Ovention prides ourselves on multiple things, but mainly on the labor savings and the ease of operation across all of our units. As you'll see in a few of the slides, we've got energy efficiencies to go along with those operational efficiencies. All of the ovens that you'll see here today are ventless, and some can stack to 2 and 3 high and still be ventless. I believe our current lead times right now are at 2 weeks, but if it's in stock, then we can get it out the next day. So just know that we have that in terms of fast shipping. I am working on a weekly quick ship type program that we can send out so that you know what is in stock at the beginning of the week to push sales. In terms of our technologies, we've got 4 different technologies that are embedded into the units, starting with precision impingement technology. So that's airflow from the top and the bottom, with full control of those blowers, and combined with the return air path and the airflow within the unit. That's what the patents are around. And so that's going to be incorporated into our Matchbox series, our Shuttle series, and our Conveyor series, which you'll see here soon. The next technology, the linear impingement and infrared, will actually combine slots of hot air, and in between those slots, you've got infrared heating coils. So you're not negating the effect of that IR by blowing the hot air over the coils, because they're separated by a diverter plate from the top and the bottom. So that technology alone is incorporated into our Milo series, which affectionately stands for manual load oven. Multiple sizes there. Next up, we've got our MISA series. So the microwave speed assist is the acronym there. And that incorporates high velocity angular air with a combination of microwave. So on that graph there, hopefully you can all see that. You've got from the points 1 and 2, you've got a 45-degree angle of airflow hitting the food from the left and the right side. with the microwave being emitted from the top. Additionally, on the Mesa, we've got our artisanal cook plate, and that's 0.3 there, which will act as a heat sink and a quick way to brown and crisp the product that's on there. And then lastly, we've got our infrared only and our F1400 series, which is infrared heating from the top and the bottom. So there is no airflow in there. It's a simplified version for finishing product, melting cheese, rethermalizing plates. So those are the 4 technologies, and a few of the things that set us apart. I did mention the ventless certification. So any Ovention oven will have that ventless certification. And as you can see by the line here on the middle of the screen, we are well under the UL standard, which is 5 milligrams per cubic meter for each unit. And so that allows us to stack the units, and that allows us to have a higher throughput when they're stacked. One other thing that we like to point out is our noise level. So whether it's the finishing oven or the Mesa oven or the Matchbox, all of the ovens will have a lower noise output, which allows the oven to be placed in the front of the house or the back of the house for ease of operation. So from a high level, our Matchbox unit, as you can see there, and we have great videos on our website, which I'll mention a little bit later. But the Matchbox comes in 2 sizes. We've got the M1313 and the M1718, and they will fit a 12-inch pizza and a 16-inch pizza screen respectively, with a quarter-size sheet pan and a half-size sheet pan. So this unit in particular, and this is our original model, is 1 cavity and 2 surfaces. So it actually slides back and forth on about 7 pounds of stainless steel. So it's moving 1 surface into the cavity and exposing the next surface to utilize that for staging. And that's why we have the dual screen there, because each surface is controlled by 1 screen. And so with that comes a lot of menu versatility. You can store up to 1,000 recipes on this unit, so you're never going to run out of space. And our main success here are golf courses, entertainment venues, really anywhere with that smaller footprint kitchen, wanting to do a high variety of menu. So once again, this can go in the front of the house and the back of the house, but it's got the versatility to do many different menu items. And that's all in 1 unit. So on this note and on the website, we've got a ton of information, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this screen, but just know that whenever you encounter questions from your customers, we've got the answers here, from if it's stackable or not, or what the height, width, and depth are, or what it costs to run the oven per day. So we have all the calculations and we have all those numbers for you, very handy. The next unit that I wanted to talk about was our shuttle series. So we have 4 sizes with the shuttle: the 1200, 1600, 2000, and 2600. Now imagine a conveyor oven that is always open. What the shuttle does is that it incorporates a similar technology to the Matchbox, and we've added doors on the sides. So the left and the right side have doors, and those are risen up and down by linear actuators on the cabinets. And so what that enables you to do is run the shuttle oven just like the Matchbox, but with the exception of a linear flow. So everything that I just spoke to in terms of the airflow and the movement of the product and the wide variety of menu. You have that here with the shuttle. But the added feature here is that you can also raise the doors and keep them up and run just like a standard conveyor oven. So it's, the lunch rush and you've got that one like item that you're trying to pump a lot out of. You can raise the doors, set the belt speed, set the top and bottom blower speeds and the temperature, and you are good to go. And it's just like a traditional conveyor with our precision impingement technology and that increased airflow and control of the recipe. One thing that I did want to point out here, the image on the right side's got a remoted UI. So if you do have a customer that prefers to have the remote up on the wall and out of the way, then we can do that. And that just speaks with the relay board on the right side cabinet. Once again, shuttle 4 sizes to fit and accommodate any footprint. Once again, all of the information is here that you could ever want. So with the innovation of the shuttle, we did have to create a conveyor to be a part of the shuttle. And so we've had our C series out since about 2016, but have seen rapid growth in the past 5 or 6 years, really starting to entrench ourselves in the market and overtake a bunch of chains that have started to use this unit, primarily competing with the Turbo Chef conveyor series and the Lincoln models. So we are all electric, so we do not compete with the gas market, but we have been able to replace gas units as well. So this unit is incredibly fast. It's incredibly quiet, and it's got the ability to once again remote the user interface, and it's got the screen on the front right now. So this is really taken off, and think high volume, fast casual, and QSR because we really have made a mark throughout the industry with this unit. Pass over that. So the Milo series, once again, with our precision impingement technology, that was great for the Matchbox, the conveyor, and the shuttle. But when we began to receive feedback regarding the footprint and needing something smaller than the 4 to 5 feet, that's when we released the Milo series. So the cook times and the quality has not changed, but the footprint has. So you've got a smaller left to right, and you do lose that auto load and unload feature of the previous three models, but you do in the sense of the double Milo receive a second cavity on one cord and plug. So that red unit right there is also making its mark in the industry. Smaller footprint, full kitchens being the heart of the kitchen, or we've seen at times as well that the Milo can supplement the kitchen and what they currently have. So once again here we've got our linear impingement and infrared. We do have an updated user interface on this. So this user interface will incorporate color and pictures and images so that you've got a little bit more of a user-friendly recipe development. And we've got a viewing window as well that you can see the food. So once again, Milo series, multiple sizes here. We've got our single Milo 14, which is pictured there on the right side. the single 16, and then the double Milo 16, which is most definitely our best seller in terms of the Milo series. And the added option of the powder coating is also a great feature, especially for the front of the house applications. Once again, all of the information that you could ever want. So there will not be a test on this, but we can definitely provide the info and have hopefully most of the answers. Second to the last, we've got our MISA. So this is our microwave speed assist unit, rivaling the TurboChef SATA and the Chef E2S. So this is a dual magnetron microwave speed assist unit. So very high powered in terms of the convection and microwave. But like the other units, we have control over that. So within the programming, you can find that perfect setting. And we can also powder coat this as well. So a much smaller footprint, very high powered microwave speed assist unit, and it's easy to clean. So some of the other microwave speed assist units do not have the lining on the inside, so it's much easier to maintain than some of the competition. And then we have artisanal cook plate there that will most definitely give you some browning, and it's got heat retention properties in there, so it most definitely helps to keep that plate hot. And last but not least, our finishing oven, our F1400. This is not for full cooking, so I just want to make that clear. But it is great at what it does. It's a simple design, but it is incredible at melting cheese and toasting and rethermalizing plates. I was with a customer last week in Atlanta, and we were doing chicken salad, and all they wanted to do was toast the bread and melt the cheese. And I believe we got it down to 35 seconds, and it was exactly what they wanted to do. So once again, fully programmable, a little bit more of a simplified UI than what you see in the legacy models and in the Milo series and the MISA, but it is a great unit at what it's meant for. Okay, so that's an overview of the ovens. It looks like I've got about 1 minute to go through some of the online tools. So please, please, please utilize our website. It's got multiple interfaces on there that you can utilize. One of which being the 1 minute quiz, which will help you determine which unit might be best for that customer. Our ROI calculator, which will help calculate what a changeover from a current model might give you, and the time it'll take to earn your money back based on a switch over to Ovention. We've got a pizza calculator that will actually calculate the throughput based on which oven you are using and which product you are using. So, for example, the C2600 may cook 16-inch pizzas. You got 34 an hour, but an 8-inch pizza you might get a 130 out. So that's a great tool. And then also the menu builder is a great resource for recipe development. And we do have accessories, so a lot of great things to go with our units, including cleaner and all types of pans. We've got premium care packages, which will extend the life of the units, and then a few other things here too. I do want to mention that we have stands that go with the ovens as well. And this is just a little bit more about what we can cook and what we're able to do with it in the units. This is normally done on the menu development side of things once the ovens are in place, but we do have a corporate chef on staff, and our rep chefs as well throughout the country to help with the recipe development. So thank you guys. I'm going to open it up for questions now. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So we've got a few minutes here. Would love to hear feedback, kind of what you're thinking, and any thoughts, please.
I worked at an Italian place one time, and what they do is they had a double stack pizza oven conveyor, and they just use the top one for finishing and the bottom one for pizzas for the buffet.
Mhm.
Is it possible to do a C style on top of a finisher?
Yes. So we've got we have a stacking kit for most configurations, and so we've got it doesn't have to be the same model in most instances. That's a great question. Great question, Adam, there. So ventless operation, he's asking, does that necessarily mean no fire suppression? So as we've seen and experienced, most of the municipalities operate in a different way. So we do have a full ventless packet that states we have letters from fire inspectors in other cities and all of the calculations that we've done. So we can combat that to the best of our ability. But the ventless certification does not mean no fire suppression. But so we do have some installs with that, but there's always a fight at that point.
Aaron, I can expand on that a little bit. More recently, we've found that fire suppression is needed for open cavity or something that is obviously cooking grease-laden product. Our shuttle and shuttle-only mode, our Matchbox, our Mesa, our Milo are all closed cavities. So you get of the Matchbox and shuttle, you get the automated process. But because it is a closed cavity, it will contain the flame and you have no fire suppression need. We've worked with key accounts on that, and we have letters to acknowledge that that is a suitable option for no fire suppression need.
How do you
Casey?
oh, sorry.
That's right. Fire away.
Hi, this is Becky in Austin. How large an opening goes into these units? Like how big a product can you put in there?
Mm-hmm. So the opening on most of them is about 3 3/4 inches. So those on the legacy units, it's a little bit bigger on the Milo, and the Milo actually has the ability to move the cook rack down a bit, so you get about a 1/2 inch more for more of a baking style type thing. Standard warranty is 1 year parts and labor. I'm just going to fire away with the questions here. And then how much free space around the units is required for install. So most of our units do require 1-inch clearance on all sides. Our three-phase units require 6 inches from the back wall. And then there are some regulations around the Milo series on the left side unit when it's next to a combustible surface. So that's going to be a little bit more there on that left side of the Milo, but generally it's 1-inch clearance around. And David, we will look into the state of Oklahoma. He's saying we're still required to have fire suppression in K through 12.
Yeah, we've had several instances where we've looked at other impingers and just things of this nature, and they are still requiring that they go under a hood, and that they are still requiring for the fire suppression being on both sides of the impinger. That's a fight we've been going after for a long time, and they just will not relent. So anything you all could do would be very helpful, because feels like a money grab, but we just, you can't tell them no. You just have to kind
Sure.
of comply.
Well, we can start with the conversation. I know that we have a couple school installs in Oklahoma, so I'll definitely investigate that.
Appreciate it, Aaron.
I want to ask a question. I didn't type in the chat, but speaking
Sure.
on the closed cavity versus the open cavity, needing fire suppression, how historically I've always needed to do fire suppression on closed cavity. An example of that being a salamander. How are you guys doing that, and saying that you don't have to have the fire suppression versus a closed cavity, as opposed to like a salamander type operation where that's a closed cavity with grease laden vapors?
Yeah, so this was our biggest instance right now is with our customer Quick Trip with a Q. They have locations all over the country and in a lot in Oklahoma. And we work with them. And I have, like I said, if it's a shuttle only mode, that means when it's cooking, the doors will be shut. They allow us to not require fire suppression. I believe they do have type 2 hoods above that might have fire suppression for their whole kitchen, because they have rapid cook, they have steam cook, all those other options. So it's a balance of how that integrates with the oven, but that's the success we've seen so far on a large scale. And if anybody needs to see that, we have an example letter we can send.
Yeah, I would love to have that letter, because I've got a kind of a little bit of a battle with an open broiler right now. And it's jurisdictionally, it's not anything, NFPA. It's more for where this location is and the fire marshal. So they're actually not cooking grease laden food in it, and it's an open broiler, but they're requiring an Ansel drop on it. So I'd like to see what y'all have. I'm not going to use that as supporting evidence or anything like that, but I just want to kind of refer to it.
Sure.
Yeah, and on that note, I guess Leonard had a question on NFPA. I'm not familiar with Code 96 or UKC.
Yeah, that's the ventilation code for hoods, and that's the testing we test by according to EPA 202 for ventless. So it falls under the same category, but we're not technically a hood, obviously. We're just preventing the grease emissions to that standard.
Awesome. Great questions, guys. Thanks for the feedback.
You offer training on install for the client?
We do, yes. So each install will come with a 45-minute demonstration from our local representative. There are multiple ways to request that as well. So we have a QR code on the side of the unit that the customer can actually scan and request the demo. And then our local reps also reach out. That's why it's very important to get the contact information for that end user upon the receipt of the PO, so that we can actually move that process along. So I would encourage you guys to once again visit our website. We've got a bunch of great videos out there on YouTube and LinkedIn, and I will most definitely be sharing this information with our other sales managers who were unable to be on the call. But we would love to grow our partnership with you guys and appreciate all the business thus far. So if
Thank
there
you.
are
I appreciate
no other
you, Dylan.
questions, of course.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you guys, and have
Thanks,
a great
everybody.
Thursday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank you,
Thursday.
Aaron.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks.
everybody.
Thank you.